Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Sunday. As I was waiting for price action to get this video out to you guys, and exactly as I predicted yesterday, we have broke below the $38,000 level. This is an emergency update about the Bitcoin price. Let's just dive straight into the charts to talk about exactly what we predicted yesterday. We saw a lot of at 38,000. As soon as we got above on the 4 hour, notice how we have yet to see any full 4 hour candles close above the $38,000 level. For those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel, you know we always wait for hourly and 4 hour confirmations, and there's a reason for that. Now, I want to dive into this chart and talk about the range that we've been monitoring here on the Snipers channel, with a major resistance of 38,000, a major support of 34,788, and then we have 36,500 as the midpoint of the range. You can see it looks like Bitcoin is going to come and test 36,500. If we do not see volume come in at 36,500, this is not going to be the first time that we've come down to this level. And what that tells us is that we could potentially see more sell pressure come in. So let's look at the dynamics outside of Bitcoin. Futures markets have opened. We know traditional markets have a huge influence on Bitcoin, especially with the S&P 500 right now below the 200-day moving average. There's a lot to look at. I don't have much time. I have an event to attend, but let's just dive into this Bitcoin intraday analysis, because not only did we see weakness on the 4 hour chart yesterday above 38,000, on the hourly, we were looking at the candle symmetry, because we know here on the Snipers channel, we always like to look at candle symmetry. And our first full hourly candle above 38,000 closed with a very bearish tail, and it looked like we were going to see continued downside. We called that out yesterday, and because of that, notice how we have only seen weakness above 38,000, and now with futures markets open, we have dropped back below this extremely important resistance. So does that tell us that now we're confirming further downside for Bitcoin? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what to monitor here. For those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel, you know all of our numbers are extremely accurate on our chart, especially our red lines. And this $36,500 level is extremely important. The reason this is extremely important is because if we start getting hourly and 4 hour candles closing below 36,500, that is a first confirmation of weakness that we could potentially see Bitcoin not just fall back below 34,788, but potentially even breach this macro structural support at 33,000 to potentially form a lower low around the $32,000 level, where we know there's potential volume there. And so 36,500 is going to be more important than ever for Bitcoin right now. And by the time I get this video out, with the amount of volatility that we could see on a Sunday to Monday, we know Sundays are one of the most manipulated days because traditional markets are just starting to open up. Institutions have yet to really make their bets. They're probably still with their families, haven't checked into the office yet. And so with the volatility, 34,788, if we get below 36,500, would be our last draw. We need to monitor some of these micro timeframes as we test these important levels. And that's what this main topic and focus of this video is going to be. It's 36,500, 34,780. I want you guys to keep those on your charts. And then, of course, if at any point we get above 38,000, we can talk about upside scenarios, but we have to look at the downside right now. And remember what I talked about. If we were to talk about a medium-term downside target, if we breach below 34,788, unfortunately, I always have to address the bears on this channel, not just the bulls. And so if we see a full hourly or 4 hour candle close below 34,788, our target in the more medium term is going to be 25,880. I did talk about that $32,000 level, but I do want to just stick to the fundamentals that we've always stuck to here on this channel, which is always monitoring the major support and resistance levels. I'm not just going to throw random numbers out there. I do think 32,000 could potentially be a level of support, but on my chart, if 34,788 gets breached, 25,880 is the only next level where we could potentially find some volume. And so that's very important to mention. And now that we've talked about the levels to watch for Bitcoin, the most important levels, I do want to address some of the revolving parts of the market. Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, not much to talk about. We're staying above 65,000 Satoshis. So this is good because that tells us that we don't have a confirmation that we're really entering into a bear market just yet, with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart still showing strength. If it breaches 65,000 Satoshis, that's going to be something important to mention. But if we go and we look at what's happening to traditional markets, notice how the DXY is still very calm. The S&P 500 is also just down 0.2%. And so are we really seeing a decisive move right now with the S&P 500 as it's consolidating below this 200-day moving average? I wouldn't say so. And so what that tells me is that we may be gonna buy some time here for Bitcoin before we see any major movements. This could just be some volatility. It could be some longs being shaken out right now. I don't see this as a major immediate short-term concern, but I will say that in the medium term, this is a little bit of a concern. That means we're still inside of this range. This still could potentially be a downside move with a bear flag to see further downside. And so that's the most important thing to understand right now with the Sunday 4-dimensional environment. It's that it's not too concerning right now. I wouldn't say that with S&P 500 less than 0.2% down, that 0.2% is no big deal. So, really the biggest thing we have to realize right now is that we're not necessarily seeing a push to the upside. The bulls are not stepping in just yet for Bitcoin. Just like what happened when we were at 41,950 and 44,800, the longer we stay below 38,000, the more concerned I'm going to be for the Bitcoin price. Because if we want to assume a bottom at 33,000, we need to see some upside here soon. We need to see some more volume come in soon. And the more we see the bears have control of the price, which they clearly do right now with Bitcoin breaching back below 38,000 without any decisive candles above 38,000, the bears are still in the driver's seat. In order for that to not be the case, we have to get above 38,000. So once again, I'm always going to address the bears and the bulls on this channel. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm snipers. If you guys enjoy these quick updates, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Bitcoin has bottomed out in the immediate short term, or are we going to be seeing further downside? Do you think 25,880 is even on the table in the next month to two? I'll read some of your comments in our next video. And with that, I have a meeting to attend. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Snipers channel this Sunday. Have a fun day, and I'll see you guys with the opening of traditional markets tomorrow. Hopefully we have a nice green day that could help Bitcoin potentially get above 38,000. And with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Snipers.